This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Bar Steward's Enquiry Weekend Podcast. Yes, it's good this weekend. We've got Beverley, Sandown and all the gas tracks like Chester to go through this weekend, and hopefully me and the panel will have some really interesting bets for you, as well as hopefully profits. We've got a good team in there this week. It's the return of Quentin Franks. Yes, we've got Quentin back on the show this week. I know some of you have been messaging me, where's Quentin? Going through a book of Where's Wally. You're trying to spot him in the crowd. He's ducking and diving, but he's back on the show tonight, along with Nick Davis and John Lane. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Evening all.
Evening, everyone.
Yeah, I see you're all raring to go. Right. Here comes the best bets round before we go on to the telebox action. Just a quick reminder that this weekend sees some top-class international racing. In France on Sunday, you've got the Prix Moulin at Longchamp. Baid won that a couple of years ago. Strangely, though, no UK and Irish entrants all day on the French card. Why do we think that is?
We finished as a force in world racing.
All big sold to Hong Kong.
Yeah, that. But do you reckon then it's like our lot are concentrating on York and then Leopardstown?
More than likely.
Yeah. They've completely ignored the frogs, which is bizarre. It's like literally full of French. That's all it is. A weird card there. And also for you yeehaw racing fans, we've got US racing this weekend, which is also showing signs of some big racing there. Saratoga for the Spinaway. I think that's on Saturday evening. Am I right? Or is that Sunday? No, that's Sunday, the Spinaway at Saratoga. And I think we've also got the Pacific Classic at Santa Ana. And so tomorrow, Jim's kicking in. Tomorrow we've got, it's big again. We've got the Jockey Club Gold Cup from Saratoga, and so it's all good stuff. And so that's coming up, and we've also got John Baden von Baden.
Sure. That's done, baby.
Only problem is it's good ground, and older flugs are all fucked. There we go.
You can't rely on anything these days, can you?
You can't. It's totally shit. Not like this podcast.
I'm Rishi Prasad.
Yeah. Rishi Prasad. Did you watch that other day with him and old Meg on Racing TV? It was the most awkward.
Old Meg?
Yeah.
Meg.
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah. You know what I mean. No, did you watch it there?
Yes, yeah.
Did you think it felt awkward?
There wasn't a lot of chemistry.
They weren't, were they? Like he was struggling. Well, she was struggling with him, and he was struggling with her. It didn't work at all.
No, it's not the best pairing. I don't think.
No. Lydia needs to get back on, and so we can see size of Meg's head compared to Bristol.
Steady.
The same size, folks. Right. We better get on with show here. Digressing, aren't we? Terribly. Right. Best bets round. This is the one you all like. 1, 2, and 3 points. 1 point, and Quentin's been away for so long, it's time for him to chime up. Quentin, 1 point bet, please.
Well, you said it's a weekend of international racing, Lee. I'm going all Swedish with mine. 2030 Wolverhampton Krona. Charlie Johnson trains, 3-year-old, still receiving weight for age against her elders even. On the all-weather, her form was rock solid, decent times earlier in the winter. Shaped like she was coming back to form last time out at Pontefract. Just hadn't shown the same level on turf, to be honest, but showed she wasn't dead inside. Times suggest she's still got more in hand of a mark of 75. I think she's going the right way. 9-1 looks overpriced against some that look handicapped up to the hilt here. 1 point win.
1 point win, Krona. 9-1 generally available. Quick story about that. I had an all-in poker game, dusk till dawn, and I was playing a Swede in a cash game, And as I won the hand, I said, I take your krona, yes? Yes, that was brilliant. Good start, Quentin. Nice price. Won't be nines now. You've tipped it. Nick Davis.
Right then, I'm going with an old friend, and we're going the 5 o'clock at Beverley. I'm hoping the ground is still good because this isn't raced on decent ground for a little while, and it's my old mate Zosimus, who now gets a visor on for the first time, Beverley, and he gets decent ground for the first time since run to third to Blue Light Bay and Top Secret at Salisbury. He's been a couple of times. He tried to make a run on softer ground at Hammond, didn't look to get home. Now he's got the visor on. Handicap markers. I think it's about £12 below what he contested the Cambridgeshire about a year and a half ago, nearly 2 years ago now, on decent ground. And I feel that the visor and better ground could see him finally win here.
Interesting indeed. First time, yep, the visor, etc. Zosimus, I can give you 13-2. It's 15-2 Port Vale, but 13-2 with 888 for Unic on the fairness in football pricing system. Yeah, thank you for that. So 9-1 and 13-2 to kick us off. John?
Right, off to the van tomorrow, 3:25, Silmanaya. Aga Khan horse. This one's been unlucky in the run the last 3 times. This cannot continue. She's got the plum dry, and of course she's won it. The blinkers are a bonus. I think they'll give her a bit more rev up early in the race. She's sort of giving herself so much to do. But the blinkers are going on. They're the icing on the cake, really. I think this is a race lacking depth, and this one's got a smashing draw, good cruising speed, should be able to lead them into the bend and just wallop.
Wallop. Kind of whoop-ass from John there. 11-4, generally available for Silmanaya at Navan in the 3:25. Cheers, John. My bet's is equally as boring. Goes in the 2:40 at the Beverley Bullet, and Silky Wilkie. It's his best chance for a while now. I know, like Julie Camacho's king of the sprinters, and Judicial will be popular, I think, at 11-2. But there's not exactly much speed in this. Apollo 1 steps back in trip from 6 to 5. Might suit, but it's not guaranteed to have enough pace early, considering that all its racing is done at 6. And I just think Silky Wilkie at the weights, if this was a handicap, it'd be giving them all weight. And I don't see why it's so generous in price at 100-30. If you're going on the weights, you're saying Silky Wilkie's useless off 108. But yeah, it's managed to finish second in an Epsom dash. It's managed to finish 4th last time out in a racing league off 108. And so it's running to roughly, you could say it worse.
Racing League there?
Was it Racing League recently?
Yeah, 2 nights ago.
Racing League.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah, finished 4th in that, and it was close 4th really. It's just
nothing now when we're going on fucking racing league.
only thing is that it's struggling off that mark. I do think it is struggling. Obviously, that also it'd be winning, wouldn't it? And it being group company. But today you take it on the old boys, a lot of old boys in here. Kurdos is a 3-year-old, and just on favourable terms. You know, so why is that not fab?
Are you not worried about Kurdos beating it at Goodwood in the Glorious meeting?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like in a smaller field, I just think that Silky Wilkie out and away up the hill. I think that's the key.
Well, sorry for you, really. It's turning in pylon just because you mentioned the racing league.
I know. They hate me. I know you'll hate me. I know. I get it. I shouldn't mention things like that. Swear words, racing league. Yeah, but 100-30's value. It should be fav. It should be fav. Absolutely. Because, Nick, Silky Wilkie, like I said, at the weights, if you just take it literally, would be giving Kurdos £7, would it not, in a handicap?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just don't like the quick. It's an after thing. I think it's not an afterthought.
2 days, it's perfect. You got at gym, right? And then it's 2 days later, you're bouncing, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be dead.
One. God, everyone's after my 1 point, but I hope this shit's in to fuck you all off, you bastards. You fuckers. Silky Wilky, fuck you. Right, next round. I might as well carry on rambling.
Yeah.
And then swing it back round. The 3 o'clock Sandown. Another boring bet from me. Dual Identity. Incredibly boring. 5-1 we bet 365. Bet UK, I'm having that. Two
sets of rules.
Yes, that's what we like. Yeah, it's host privilege there. So 5-1 Dual Identity. This is extremely well handicapped. Been campaigned at the wrong trip last twice over a mile, back to a mile and a quarter. Handles, if there's any cut in the ground tomorrow, which there probably will be after 5 mils today. Quentin and Nick told me there was rain down there. So this is not to be missed. The only problem is there's the lack of pace in the race, which is a worry. But again, you can't legislate for everything just because it's predicted a lack of pace, as we know. Sometimes that just doesn't transpire, and somebody goes bananas and sets it up. So, like,
haven't you found, Lee, haven't you found that over? I found some of these middle distance, these pace maps can be useless.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, there were a race last night. I'll not mention what it was. It was at Newcastle on the all weather. It wasn't what I said for my first. Yeah. Anyway, there was a race that I fancied. Diocletian or something. Some of Stuart Williams's, and I fancied that, and I was worried about a lack of pace in that. And it turned. Gay Kellaway's went bananas. It went 42 miles an hour, and so all of a sudden you think, well, there were no pace forecasts for that. So sometimes I think we read into pace too much. You know, it can. It's a variable. It's something to consider, but I don't think it should always put us off because, you know, owners aren't.
It's more reliable under a mile and under.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, so
these ones you keep mentioning like going bananas, it's usually Herbie, isn't it?
It is. Number 53. Indeed. Yeah, good films, them, John.
Classic.
Right. So Dual Identity, 2 points win for me at 5-1. John, your two.
Oh shit! You caught me on the hop.
Yes, yes. Come on.
This is Sunday at Tipperary.
Oh fucking hell!
Fucking Nevada Tipperary.
2 sets of rules, and this is 2 o'clock. See the Polaris. This was 2 1/4 lengths second to Mythology on debut, which was on heavy. He's out of a Sayuni mare, and he ought to improve loads for any margin of quicker ground than what he had to debut on. He's got bags of scope, this horse, looked open to massive improvement. For me, I made the formality for this, and I like the fact there's a couple of heighty Aiden horses entered in this. I'm fancying to go for around the 11-4 mark, and I think if that's the case, he's a bloody good bet.
Are you Betfair SP?
I'll have to go Betfair SP, yes, because I don't think the price up either.
No. Not till about 2 o'clock Sunday.
I'm happy.
no one dare bet on that, John.
No, I'm happy enough with Betfair SP because there's a few talkers in there.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, see the Polaris at Tipperary for John. Betfair SP says, Quentin.
14-10 at Chester. Infinity Blue's the horse in question. It's a shame Richard Farr, he's all sitting on runner. But Infinity Blue here is up against not too much, in all honesty. Newbury debut race has worked out in spades. Wrong part of the track that day. You look at the Newmarket run, he's been screaming out for 7 furlongs, keeping on late in the day. 7 will suit round here. Will get out, pop him out, bounce out, make all. Newmarket form strong. Lake Forest has come out and won the Jim Crack. King's Gamble was third in that, despite screaming out for that he needs a longer trip. Hugo Palmer's horse in this, it's not risky. Looks piggy. It's just a very, very thin race. Valderado needs softer ground. Varden looks, as a type, he's fine, but handicap's on the agenda for him. Foreign exchange, the trip is fine, but 7 round here, he's going to be just found out for pace. Yeah, so I'm surprised 2-1's kicking about across the boards. He's going to go off sub 11 to 8, I'd say. 2 points win.
What true price would you have in Quentin? About 5-4?
5-4, 6-5 region. I can kind of see they put, like, he's drawn 7, which obviously doesn't help, but you look inside him, you've got a newcomer, 2 that are off looking for marks. They'll just pop him out, make all. Yeah, 6-5, 5-4, 6-5 is the true price for him.
Good stuff. Like that. Infinity Blue. If Richmond was on the show now, he'd be back in that now, clicking away. He's like that, he's under. 2 points now for Nick, please.
Right, we're going to the 520 at Sandown. We're going with number 4, Safari Dream. Now, this one's been tried over 6 a couple of times. Didn't quite get home in the first one on heavy ground, and then was really overfaced in the big Yorkshire old handicap going Quentin on Washington Heights. Drops to a level that it could be really competitive at. Good record here. He's 2-1-1 at Sandown. One pacer just outside in Twilight Madness, hoping you sit in the Catbird. Spring Bloom and Brave Nation, the other low draw horses, come from behind, so he should be in line for a trouble-free run. And Mr. Murphy is booked for him.
8-1 generally available for Nick. Good stuff, Nick. To finish off the 2-point round. Okay, we'll come to the 3-point round, and I'm going to start with Jonas.
As you would. Beverley.
Ooh.
425. Now, you know what's coming here, because we've got a Charlie Hills odds-on service. And I'm checking this on big time with retraction of James Horton's. I gave this one a massive positive last year on debut. I thought it was a grand type. He was all at sea on the heavy ground at Mile Lurkle. He didn't like it. Well, it was a bit of a letdown on debut this year. The yard was bang out of sort. I think we've seen enough from the horses in the last week to suggest that they're probably over whatever sort of problems they've been having. This favourite, Charlie Hills, is a Cheveley Park homebred who has somehow found a way to the death camp. I can't understand why. There's no sales information on the post site or anything. So I can only assume she's escaped under her own steam and found a way to Charlie Hills's. And anyway, she hasn't been able to bust her man in 3 tries. If these aren't for taking on, I don't know what is. 3 points win.
9-4 generally available for John. 11-4 if you're lucky enough to have an overnight bet 365 account.
Oh, that'll do me then, won't it?
No. He's got to use, John, it's the fair price rule.
Yeah.
Right, Quentin, I'm coming to you.
I'm going to keep mine. Midge Mullen, Charlie Johnston. I'm hoping for a double tomorrow night at Wolverhampton from the pair of them. Wishful thinking, etc. But yeah, exactly. 8 o'clock Wolverhampton, Night Safari is the horse that I'm having my 3 points on. It's 7-4 across the board. I'd have it significantly shorter. As a type, he's tall, scopy, and there's ample more to come. Really like the Leicester nursery debut, keeping on steadily after just kind of half being outpaced in the middle of the race. He kind of travels strongly through the race. I think the all-weather will suit him. He's had one spin on the all-weather at Newcastle, but went bananas in front. I think they finished at like 97% off the top of my head. The second in, Kerry's came ahead of it that day, but was given the perfect ride, dropped out in a strongly run race. Stamina in the page for Night Safari. Step up and trip. No pace in the race. It'll be a bounce out and make all job. I can see this going off heavily back, kind of like tips on something like that on the off. The rest of these are just it's a piss poor race, and as a type he looks better than a 65 rated horse. He's been dropped the pound for what was a promising run, again doing too much on the front end at Leicester. 3 points win, 7-4.
Raw! It's a Night Safari for Quentin. 7-4 generally available. He says he's going off tips on. Get on, folks. Get on, press buttons now, press back now. A max bet from Quentin there, liking the reason, etc. So Quentin should be in good stead there with these bets at the Wolves meeting tomorrow night. Yeah, good old the old weather, nighttime all weather. It's where the old fat frumpy birds start coming back to do the Wolverhampton disco, John, after racing.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, bit of pork pie and a bit of cocktail sticks, sausage on a cocktail stick with a bit of pineapple. Yeah.
You can't wait for some chubby slager up round it.
Sorry about Right. My best bet. The Silver Cup. Dream Harder, the Ian Williams train runner. The price is under more pressure than Rishi Sunak at the moment. And I'm going to take 4-1. It's hanging on by the skin of its... Yeah, that. Beat box to box at Chester. Time before that, ran a little bit disappointing, I felt, in the Cumberland Plate. But prior to that was second to Kievar under Miss Alice Stevens in the Queen Mother's Cup. And that was when Kievar was off 86. That's now off 98. It was clear of the third. So you know that it was in good form. So last time out off 90. Discuss the form of this race, gentlemen. It's a racing league race. Yes. Well, Spirit Dancer, the winner, came out and won the Group 3 and beat El Drama at York. Tregoni, the third, shaped like the best horse in the Galtrees, finishing third. Probably would have won with a clean run. I'm telling you, it would have. 100%. I don't know how you can't say it. Basically, in the Galtrees.
Fucking winner, that's why.
I know you did, but yeah. But anyway, so take the point in question that this is like strong, very very strong form, and this isn't a great race. How the hell was his other stablemate put in favourite, Dancing in Paris? That just don't make any sense. Why is that fav over that? This is a 5-2 shot, plain and simple. You can get 9-2 with William Hill. It's 4-1 general. This is a very very good bet. Ben Curtis and Afternoon Much from stall 1, sitting behind them. They'll probably go a decent pace. Dancing in Paris goes from the front. Nothing not to like about this. I'd be disappointed if this doesn't do the business. I think with every chance it'll win. So Dream Harder, 4-1 general, 3 points win. Nick Davis.
Right, and this is a risk of egg on my face, but I want to take on the Haggis Hot Pot in the first race at Chester. So far, I mean, it's 2-year-old runs, nothing wrong with that at all. A couple of runs as a 3-year-old. I don't think the form as a 3-year-old deserves really a mark of 95. I mean, it's just gone at the front and sorted home in sectionals of about the last 3 furlongs, 38, 89, 38 something, off an uncontested lead. And it's going to have Leo Marty Dreams, Australian 3, Percy's Lad. If he misses the break from 1, he's in trouble. There, because you've got to. There's no cutaway, and you've got to somehow navigate. I was impressed by the comeback run of Master Zoffany for Fahy last time out behind Safe Village. It's had a break of a long time, and it just sort of sauntered around. Really, wasn't asked a great deal of question to come forth. Loves it here, won a couple of times, been placed there, and I think the winner will come off the pace tomorrow. And I think if Lord Bertie gets the trouble, I think it might. This is a very open race with the finishers. I think Boardman's still at the top of his mark. Positive Impact's hard to hum, where Revich could have a think, but there's a few here that could come from behind. But I think Masters Offney's got a bit of upside and be fresher than most. 3 points win.
Lovely. 9-1. Billy Hills. It's 11s if you've got a Kurtz account. So 9s for fair play. Dick Davis. That's a nice nap and a nice reasoning. We'll come on to that race in the TV preview, which will start now, chaps. So that's all the best bets done, and we come on to the television action. 8 races. They've decided to put on this Saturday. Don't know if I can cope with 8 races. Oh, Matt Chapman's. I mean, you had a great choice the other night if you didn't want to watch the racing league, didn't you? You've got Matt Chapman in his orange BMW, or you've got Josh Appiafi on at the races. It's like stick a fork in them or set them on fire, isn't it? It is. It literally is. Right, 135 Chester then, folks. It's the 7.5 furlong handicap that Nick has taken on the favourite Lord Bertie. Interesting paddock note from Norman Adams at Thirst that day. He said he would be wary of this unless it was like really soft ground. It was bandaged on all 4 legs at Thirsk. So that's quite an interesting note, because obviously that is a horse with obviously a few joint issues, unless William Agus and his father want a price. Want a good Wall's eyes for next time. You never know with these. You just never know, do you? But look, yeah, Lord Bertie. That's what Norman Adams says. So, John, thoughts on this? John?
Yeah, this didn't really appear as a great betting rating, to be honest. I did think there'd be plenty of pace on, but what to take out of that, I don't know. I did think on a session, Austrian Theory, possibly Positive Impact, right? We were all up there early. To be honest with you, I'm probably ruining my neck because I don't have an original thought in my head. No fairness.
Quentin?
In terms of backing a winner of the race, nothing really, but you don't have to back the winner of the race to have a bet. Or probably just have a late. I think you'll be able to get twos on this in the book. Lord Bertie, slightly awkward head carriage, as you had pointed. It was bandage on the front legs, on heavy ground, slap bang on the favoured stand side rail when coming into the straight. There's enough to take him on. Like, the head carriage isn't all there. I don't think Chester's going to suit him. I don't think the quicker surface and the drop back and trip will suit him, to be honest, given the strength of the line. The first race was weak. The time was good, but if you can get twos on the field, I don't think you're doing anything wrong.
No, I mean, playing devil's advocate, obviously motivator on the dam side might explain the head carriage a little bit, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're all saying on that. So I've got nothing to add to what has been said. 320 Chester is the 1.6 mile listed race, 50,000 added. It looks a fairly weak contest. Lone Eagle looks pretty dead to me. Even Rafe and Ralph, who's
I fancy that.
Dear,
yeah.
Go on then. Tell me why, John.
I think actually the last run wasn't all that bad. I thought he travelled all right to a certain point. He was quite keen.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gradually dropped him back to what is probably his correct trip now. He didn't stay in the Gold Cup. I mean, he lived till nearly a furlong out in the Gold Cup, going quite well.
Yeah.
I thought. And then didn't last as long on the slop at Goodwood. But I'd excuse anything, the shit performance on the slop.
Mm.
He had a good run prior to that at Chester, behind Hamish. I mean, he's only beaten 1 3/4.
Mm.
Rafe and Ralph could hardly be better Nick than they are at the minute. I think he's got a proper shout there.
Okay, yeah, good stuff. Yeah, always like different opinions.
What I think about, wasn't Military's orders time on the poly track good, but he's never done a time on turf, has he?
Yeah, it's not, but the pace of the races have not helped that. But yeah, significantly slower. But you'd expect you're basing times off of novice races, so you'd expect there's a lot more to come from him, given he's now away from good to firm ground. Like, I kind of looked at the race and I was like, "Oh, this looks semi-interesting. How the fuck do they put this in at 11 or 10 evens?"
Yeah, 11 to 10 it was, yeah.
Like now it's 8 to 13, which for me is the right prices. I think Lone Eagle is not all there anymore. Race now looks priced as it really should be, to be honest, in my opinion.
I'm of the same opinion, QF. I think if it's sort of getting towards even money Military order, I'm a backer of that. I mean, you can't knock the form. I mean, I know Waipira is better over 10 than 12, but it still beat Circle of Fire by 5.5 at Lingfield. And then prior to that, it's thumped Exoplanet.
And Chess Piece.
And Chess Piece by 4. And what's Chess Piece now? Chess Piece 109. Nothing not to like, really. And obviously the 3-year-old weight for age advantage over the older horse. Like you say,
Rouse coughing it again.
You what?
Admiral Rouse. He never gets any pace these days, does he?
No, he's a cunt. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there we go. I think that's pretty summed up. John also makes a case for the seconding. So what do you?
Nobody late.
What do you think? What do you think, listeners? Where will you go? You probably won't go with the odds-on favourites too short, but there we go. That's where we're at. Right, Beverley. Before we come on to Sandown, the Silver Cup. I've already tipped here, so I'll stay silent. Chaps, what do we think of this, Nick?
Go somewhere else first. I'm trying to get this up.
Go down someone else's rabbit hole, for fuck's sake. Quentin Franks.
I was with Silver Cup. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. Go to John.
John.
I've got the wrong race up.
What are these people looking at?
I don't know. Jonas, come on, Jonas, help me out.
This race for me, I mean, we're lacking a bit of course form for some of these. I love a bit of course form at Beverley.
Yeah.
And I don't think we haven't got a course winner in the race, have we?
No, it's they're all virgins, John.
Whereas you often need to be on the front end round here. When you get to this trip, you can sometimes do the business from the back, which sounds a bit mucky now I've said it out loud. But Fulfilled has been running all right. The maestro,
Yeah.
Mr. Simcock. We know what to expect. I think there'll be an even pace on which should suit. And if I had to have a bet, I'd probably have a little bit on that one.
So you've dissed my max bet, and I've given you the form lines on the fucking Galtrees and the fucking Group 3, and you've gone with a fucking Simcock runner ridden by Haley fucking Turner.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus Christ. You absolute bastard. Right.
I can't admit to the even possibility that my Galtrees winner could have got beat under any circumstances whatsoever.
Yeah, of course. Except when you watch it back and Tragoni run the last couple of furlongs quicker than anything, despite getting hampered. But anyway, that's beside the by. Let's not get in the way of facts here. Quentin Franks.
I'm with you, Lee. Dream Harder, perfect. Like the kind of I got Haley Turner earlier in the season on this horse at Beverley, and it was just fucking. It was brutal watch. I think it was one of the Sunday Series races, and
it was round there. Yeah,
it's same trip, same track. Draw an 8. Like you know what they're going to do. They're going to drop in. Dream Harder, drawn 1. Nice posse. Should be favourite, isn't favourite. That's the bet in the race.
It is. Yeah. Dick Davis.
Yeah, the only other one I looked at was the Prescott one that's gradually being dropped back down in trip. It looked to be going on. It might be, this might be its trip, or it might be tripless now. Because they tried it over 2 miles in the Newcastle Consolation Plate, and it looked to be going well at one stage. It was when it's fresh. It's run a couple of shit races since, so yeah, I'll stick with you.
It's a fair point you make about that, actually. It wasn't a bad run behind Calling the Wind in the Plate. Only thing I would say, it's one of them where, it beat Udaberry by 2.5, and it was the wrong one to beat, really, to get thumped up in the weights. And I think that's what's done it, because Udaberry's just shit. And that's it's one of them, really. Yeah, you've won it nicely, and it's like, but I take your point on that. That it wouldn't surprise me if that came to the fore at all. But that was the only thing I thought. I thought you've gone up in the weights for beating Udaberry of Sean Woods. It's like that's just shit form. It's ran well enough in the plate, so like you said, Nick, maybe the step back in trip will help. Right, 240 Beverley, the Beverley Bullet coming on to Silky Wilkie. I'll stay quiet again. John.
Silky Wilkie.
You bastard. Quentin.
I'm with you, Silky Wilkie. Silky fucking hell. Silky Wilkie.
It's Canadian gin being brought over here.
Apollo 1, I'm not sure has the gears. I know it goes well for its races, but not sure it has the gears for 5 away from Handicap Company. The run on Thursday night was spot on by Silky Wilkie, and sprinters, you keep them informed, you keep them ticking over, then they're fine off a 2-day break. Everyone's harped on about Tis Marvellous and it's coming back here, but I think that's just gone. Like, it's won the last 2 years, this race, and like I know it's similar profile to the last 2 years, but its performances are significantly worse than they were. You got the sprint queen, Julie Camacho, good column on Patreon that you put up earlier. Mm-hmm. But no, I shall not be backing her tomorrow. Silky Wilkie is the way to go. That's how I'm rolling in with it.
Just me, or is this a shit bullet?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not a good one, is it?
Yeah.
It's a shit bullet.
I mean, Apollo 1's the type that if you look at all his RPRs, all his best RPRs on big field handicaps, 6 furlongs, and that's it. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if he's got the pace. I'd have a slight thing with Kurdos back on better ground. 3-year-olds used to win this race quite often in the OOs. They haven't done well the last 10 years, but I agree. Judition and Just Marvellous haven't really sort of cut it up the thing, but I'd probably just lean towards Kurdos. But
3-year-olds haven't won for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I know. The 10 years before.
Mr. Huey in 210 first, Mr. Windmill.
But they went through the period when they won it for about 5 years on the trot before that.
I was just going to slag Admiral Rouse off then.
I think we should call this the Beverley Suppository, because that's a shit bullet, isn't it?
It is. It's a shit bullet. But a pound weight for age, the 3-year-olds get from the older horses, like for this. It's like, doesn't seem fair, that. Why would you give them a pound? You might as well just scrap the pound, don't you?
You'd have to be some daft old bastard working it out on his... Well, we know how to work it out, don't we? We've had that discussion.
You can have a pound, Kurdos. Yeah. So, we'll move forward to Sandown. The 150 race there is the 7 furlong handicap, where Tough Enough is too short for me at 4-1. Did it okay last time, but a £4 rise in the weights for beating Street Kid and up in class. That's not for me, I'm afraid. So I thought I'd come down here on probably Indemnify should be 5 on the course and distance win back in the spring in May when it beat Helm Rock, 5th to Perotto. These are good runs. 6 to Dutch Decoy, did get beat a long way, but I thought the distances were exacerbated at Newmarket due to the ground, and it was hooded for the first time. Not much run last time behind Ireland Bandit and behind horses, but one of them handicaps I felt, chaps, that it might come down to the run of the race, this one.
I thought that was absolutely right there against some down thing. I'm not sure they've dropped the 7 will shoot I'd Indemnify.
He's keen though, isn't it? He's keen. He pulls his bollocks off at a mile.
It's drawn right in one. That's what I think your big thing is there, because he's stuck on the rails and you can see the same thing happening. If I had to have in the bet in the race, I'd probably go. I'd chance Amber Island, because I think he'll have the run of the race. He'll be there. He'll be there at first or second, and they'll all be stacking up, queuing behind, climbing all over each other. And there'll be 8 hard luck stories, and they'll go, we could have won, that could have won. I think Amber Island, when it's in form, it's usually in form, and it hit a form last year. I think it won a couple or first, second, or something. And then last time out, he's made the run in. He didn't get an easy lead. I think they finished about 98%. So it wasn't a fluke. And I think James Doll takes in the front from 2, and it's whether he stacks them up behind and they're all saying, I couldn't get through.
If there's been rain today, Nick, don't you worry about the ground for that?
Yeah. I think it's a dry. What I can see tomorrow, it'll be sunny and it'll be warm. Just hoping
so it might dry out. Yeah,
might dry out a bit. I mean, that's why I didn't put it through as a bet, because I think pace-wise, that was one of my angles of the thing there of 7 furlongs or more. I think that would get a clear run, but I don't know what the ground is, and I won't know what it is until 1:40 tomorrow. But if I had to have a bet, it would be that in there.
Okay, cool. Quentin?
Like kind of Nick said, there's a distinct lack of pace in the race. I kind of felt King Carbo was the way to go. Looked doggy when they held it up at Chester, but since then stuck into solid efforts over a mile. Newmarket in the Greys race, Kempton, decent times on both occasions. Lack of pace, Gianni on top. I'm just trying to find a price. 20 to 1 in the place looks overpriced, even for a trading angle. Should get his own way, and Sandown often plays that way. You're on the pace, you're on the rail, and I think that's overpriced. So I know he's up in grade, but that's the way I'd lean.
John, Marco Johnny, 40 Marlborough, slug a Colombian, and a smile like Bingo. Marco!
I will go on this one, Lee. I think Indemnify is the standout, really. and I don't think we've been anywhere near nice enough to Alice Haynes lately. So
shout out to Charlie Sutton that keeps messaging me telling me I'm a cunt. Right, yeah. He's not far wrong though, is he? To be fair,
is he a regular listener?
yeah, he is. Yeah, no, to be fair, he doesn't. I'm exaggerating, but he's always moaning at the coverage I give their yard. Yeah, well, you're entitled to a moan, but fuck you. Right, 225. The Atalanta Sticks, the Group 3 affair for fillies and mares. Davis loves these kind of contests, fillies and mares.
I did a little bit. I mean, I don't know what. John's mate only comes. The Potapova only comes alive once a year, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is it due tomorrow to come alive again?
Won this last year, didn't it? Yeah.
I thought she ran a cracker at Ascot, actually.
Yeah, I did. I think she's a major contender.
My worry here is that Ryan doesn't seem to have a clue how to ride her. He always seems to go to Andy on her, and she seems well best when she's dropped right out and kept out the early scrimmaging.
How do we feel about the drop back to a mile for Midnight Mile?
Well, it's in the name, Nick. It's a miler, isn't it?
He's telling you, he just needs to run at midnight.
If this was in the Racing League Phase 2, where the race through the night next year,
that's the tip.
In all seriousness, Nick, I think it's a positive, to be honest. I have no qualms with it driving back in trip. I know it gets 10, but
Coppice, I want to see fast ground for Coppice. If there's any dig in the ground, I can't be with that.
You don't want to see Kieran Skidmark with a middle draw around there, either.
He's shit. He's shit. I mean, it's amazing that we've got the top trainer on the right. It's incredible stuff, isn't it? Right. So we've had John and Thady Gosden, right, the top yard in the UK today. They have the shittest jockey, barring Frankie. They've had the shittest jockeys ever, haven't they? Fucking Rab Avlin, fucking all sorts of idiots riding for them. Martin Harley, and now it's like Kieran Skidmark. I mean, he's absolutely fucking hopeless. I'm sorry, but he's very, very bang average. But this happens as well over the jumps. I mean, look at Chemical Nicky. For years, Ben and Jerry, innit? It's like, well, no, Ned and Jerry, sorry. Yeah, Ned Curtis and Jerry McGrath for years. What an absolute bin, man. It's like you've got top-class horseflesh and you've got absolutely complete idiots riding for you. And this is another example. How do they think that Kieran Skidmark is the answer? He's slightly better than Rab.
Asking the wrong fucking question, aren't you, really?
Yeah. He's slightly better than Rab is the correct answer. I'm getting suspicious about all this. Why they're doing this? I mean, what's next when Rab retires? Is Haley going to go number 2 at Clarehaven?
Right.
Well,
that's a bold shout.
Well, you just never know. I just can't believe the decisions made by top yards. I mean, if that lad's a top rider and a Group 1 rider, I'll pack him betting. He's decidedly bang average, and it boils my piss that
you ridden, Lee.
I know I'll get all that shit. Yeah,
it's really a Skidmark.
Yeah, probably. I'm not that far behind. In fact, I've given him start. But anyway, I mean, so going through the runners here, Heredia, she can miss it at the start. She's kind of hit and miss it, but I think she's in good form, which would support her case. Midnight Mile, I agree what you said, chaps. I think she's a big contender. Queen for You looks to be going the wrong way. Old John and Slim have gone for the pieces. And obviously Rab in the saddle, that's no good. Potapova, major contender. Why is that 7s at the moment? That's just bizarre.
14s earlier in the week.
Incredible price. I still think...
It's up.
Yeah, well, he went, fucking hell, there you go. Fucking bald, fucking metropolitan bastard has tipped it up. Anyway, so 7-1 Potapova, I think, is in the ballpark, and that's how I see it. Anything to add on it?
No.
Really?
Maybe probably a small place lay on Coppice. It's got the Group 1 form next to its name, but given the right sort of ride at Newmarket that day, strong head, wind held up. As you said, any ease in the ground won't suit it. Small place lay of that.
Yeah, if it is like good to soft, you can't be with Coppice, really. I think that needs top of the ground or whether maybe, as what we've seen so far, utilise its turn of foot. 3 o'clock Sandown, obviously I've commented again, dual identity. What are we thinking here, chaps?
Just stands no pace as well in the racing. Educator's been a funny horse, but it's got more on it this time. Certain lads gone down the weight. Skysail might get its ground. And Leap ran an awful race last time, but before that looked good. Garcy's a pig. Still protective. Rich tactics last time after he won at Sandown the time before going to the front. He was held up at Goodwood. So I just put this down as go to the bog and sort of read a comic.
Yeah, no, I disagree. Like I said, I just think dual identity is so well in off 87 now, and you've got 40 Marlborough on, a big smile after the race. You can't beat that. And, look at the mark. 87 is absolutely chucked it. It works. I mean, it was second to Protagonist off 86 under Drunk. When it beat V-Sight were in third. It just looks like, yes, please. I want
to say the pace of the races. I don't know what's going to happen here.
Well, I know, but that's it. That's the only argument one's got, really. Well, they might go slow. What happens if they go quick? Your quid's in. It should be 6 to 5, as Gordon Brown says. It's like, or John says, I love this game. Do you, John?
I do.
I do. Right, what do you think, John, to this?
Yeah, I like dual identity. But I'll just chuck one in that's a bit left trailed. Groundbreaker. Andrew Bowley.
Yeah.
I thought this was a real promising comeback in May at Chester. And it was one of them where you go, And then when you ran at Chelmsford after that, it was no. But they given the time off, the wind up, they dispensed with the hood after the first run as well. So they can't be too worried about him running fizzy. And he's got a nice draw, he's got a good posse. I can see this running really well tomorrow at a big price.
Do you think they'll like the one negative is O'Sheen choosing Stay Well when he probably would have had the choice?
Fuck him, he's an idiot.
Exactly. Quentin?
Terry will have picked that for him.
Yeah, Terry Norman. Yeah, he could argue with Shadow. Quentin?
I'm going to cheer on friend of the show, James Finch's horse. James Finch, not Jane, fuck. Not Anal Deep, fuck.
Yeah, anal and trans in one sentence.
Yeah. Anal Deep.
Anal Deep, yeah. And delete. Anal Deep, yeah.
There we go. Did well to win at York. That form's worked out well. The third Dark Moon Rising's come and won since 3 Yorkshiremen won a week novice. But Elgersaw came out and won. Just appeals a strong form. Sandown's his course, drawn in 1, should get the right sort of ride. The pace concerns me with yours, Lee. That's the only nagging doubt about dual identity. So yeah, and the leap. For me, I know it's attracted a bit of support, but any double figures. Probably, I know John's given a negative shout in regards to Garcy. He's increasingly looked like he doesn't want to know at the business end, so maybe a few short price lays on that or lays in the place market.
Good stuff indeed. Yeah.
What are they playing that with Garcy? I mean, what's going on here? I mean, Downing trip, just he's not having it, is he?
No. This is not typical Agus placing, really. I like to follow Agus. How we search it.
This is Agus pissed off, isn't it? This.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do. He's gone back down to the 10 furlongs where it won at the Danty meeting. No, that were a mile and a half. Yeah, that was 12, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so he's basically he's clutching at straws. He ran
this in the fucking Eva last year.
Yeah, you're all right. You're all right, really. It's just not in love with the game, is it? So anal deep. We're cheering on anal deep for James Finch and the Kublers in the Virgin bet. That's if mine don't win. Dual identity, yeah. Right, 3:38.
James Finch and the Kublers will have a rape party if anal deep wins.
The mental image. The mental image. I've got this photographic image system in my brain. It's quite good, and it's like, I've just seen a vivid image there. Oh, it wasn't pretty. Right, the 338 Sandown is, of course, the Group 3 for 2-year-olds. It's the Virgin Bet Solario Stakes. John, first question I want to know is, why is this race named after an ice lolly?
Wasn't that a Solario?
Sorry. Yeah, well, that, yeah. But, I mean, yeah, it's any thoughts on this, John?
I think it was one of Harry Smith's show jumpers, wasn't it? It's one of Interstellar Solario.
Sony Hinari video.
That's the chap, yeah.
I lived in Mortlake once, so that's all I know about the race.
Yeah. So what we're thinking here, chaps? Right, I'll give you my take, and then you can take me apart on it. Mortlake, very impressive last time at Leicester. Didn't beat much though. I'm not confident in that form level, but I was very impressed with it visually. Starlow at the 2 pole, between the 2 and the 1 pole, I thought Starlow was going to quicken away, win by 4.
Yeah.
And I was immensely disappointed when, and I thought, is he idling? And then I watched after the line, and he got well past, and I was like a bit disappointed with that. I thought, well, you were there, you were absolutely literally cantering like 4.5 hours. I'm thinking, no. So something about that, I'm not really.
It was probably the onset of this virus that the Stout team have had for.
Well, that's it. Yeah. That's it, innit? I don't want to be too dogmatic and say this, but of the three principles, that's the weakest one for me, Starlow, on what I've seen. But only because of what he did. I thought he'd go on and win by 4, and he didn't. Ablon, obviously, I think is quite useful, because although Whiskey Pete's and Magsood might have let the form down a little bit, since, I do think he was extremely green, and the fact he went off 7-4 on suggests to me that they know what they've got, all the big entries, etc. So
Whiskey Pete was all right, anyway, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, he was all right. He just he had to do it the hard way. When next time out at Haydock, didn't it? He was held up at the back and
the second's one today.
Yeah, Touch the Moon did the business at Carlisle, beating Magsood.
Mm-hmm.
So look,
Old might be all right, even though it's a Hammond.
At the prices, that'd be my choice. I would be with Ablon at the current market prices. Thoughts, chaps?
I think you're right, Lee. And Mortlake was my initial port of call, and I kind of thought, all right, fine. You've got the Appleby first time out winner that's gone off 4-7. They'll put that in short. I want to be against it. They've got Starlaw. I'm completely in Law camp. Time Form said he idled. I don't think he idled at all. I think the tank was emptying, and
he was beat literally. After the line.
I think he was on fumes at the end of that race. Normally, you look at this race, you'll go, all right, fine. Ablan, they've sent it off 4-7 on debut for a HQ novice. They'll put this in at 7-4 or something. And now Appleby's not had a great year with his 2-year-olds at all, and now you're staring at 7-2, 130, 4-1 in a place. I think that's the way to go. I know the third's been beat today, but he did a hell of a lot wrong and was still coming back at the end. Don't mind that race at all. He's probably more 5-2 shot, maybe a tad shorter. Devil's Point, I think, needs slightly easier ground than he'll get tomorrow. Cerulean Bay, the form's worked out, but the times are modest, and Inish Valens out of its depth. Yeah, I had no qualms with stepping in with a bet on the Appleby horse.
Yeah, you see, if you look at the second in the Leicester race, it was strong request. I know individualism was odds on 5 and it's ran below form, but if you take that as a guide, it had got beat 25 lengths on debut, and then 5 lengths in an Air Maiden for Mortlake, right? So that's not very good. And the fact then that Mortlake's been impressive beating it 5, you're thinking, well, and Appleby's went off 7-1 in that, the 4th, so that wasn't fancied to be 7s. The form might be absolutely dog dirt, and Arblan is the way forward, I think. John?
Barry Mahon, racing manager to owners, judgment about Starlaw. He's a nice horse, but there's a feeling that perhaps next year will be more his cup of tea. What a fucking surprise.
Might be as a 4-year-old for Brigadier Gerard.
Yeah, say
Yeah.
2025 could be time, couldn't it?
Yeah, be 338 days off after this. Yeah, might turn up in silver tankard next year.
Get me ready, and then Brigadier Gerard, how roads
In
lead.
fact, you can't turn up in silver tankard because that's a 2-year-old race, isn't it? Fucking idiot.
Could be Desert Crown coming back as a 6-year-old, isn't it? as well?
It could be, yeah, with when Stott gets sacked from Ammo eventually.
Starting up.
Yeah, so Stotty might get the job. Nick, any thoughts on this?
No, it's a 2-year-old race. I'll leave that to
Yeah,
people.
shit. Gin and Pate. We've summed it up. It's a nice racing weekend actually for international folks and for domestic folks, and we hope we've marked your card and provided some fun along the way. Myself, John, and Chris are back on Sunday with more bollocks with the Sunday sermon, as always, to keep you entertained over the weekend. That's all from us. Bye for now.